Okay, listen.
Fuck you. That was
Okay, go ahead.
Sway.
Yeah,
Sway.
Sway.
That's right.
Yeah.
That was hilarious.
Sway looked like he was gonna murder.
You just about got ghetto with him, huh?
He calmed right down too.
Alright, yeah, we're good. Alright, welcome back. This is, if you're listening, it is CaveCast number 12. It's been a while. If you're still with us, I thank you for listening. Appreciate it immensely. Kinds, and it's a very special day today because my dear old dad joins us, Greg Admire, the original Admire. I mean, not the first one, but you know what I'm saying. I'm Admire, but I mean.
No, I'm Admire.
So
Admire.
yeah,
Admire Light.
kind of stoked to have you here. We've been talking about it for weeks now.
I've been wondering for months why I hadn't been invited. So.
Well, I mean, because it's your ex-wife's house, I guess.
Yeah, that's awkward.
Good point.
Yeah. So we got some topics to talk about today. It's been a while. The reason it's been a while is because I was diagnosed with testicular cancer, and I know everybody thought I was joking when I put it up in the first place. It is not a joke. I'm now just packing one ball, and I told everybody it's the bigger of the two. I was lying just to make myself feel better, but it, it's still, I still can. Same amount of cleanup is basically all I'm saying. So
actually, when I saw it, at first I was, because you like it. You post so much weird stuff. Yeah. I was like, I don't know how to take it.
That's what everybody said.
And I let Natalie read it, and she was like, he's being serious. And I was like, how can you tell? And she was like, I can just tell. And then her eyes watered up and stuff. And I was like, oh my God, this is serious.
Well, they told me, if you got to get cancer, that's the one you want, which seems kind of... Yeah. Seems just like something they would tell you, but apparently it is, because it's an easy fix. And
I looked it up a little bit, and you're right. It sounds like the last thing you'd want, but it's one of the easiest to take care of.
Yeah.
And like almost every guy that gets the surgery is totally normal afterwards. I mean,
if you get the right one.
If you get the right
one. I always, for years, I always wondered, if there is a God, what's the fucking deal with this design where your balls just hang in a sack outside of your body where you can sit on them or get kicked in them or something? And now I'm kind of realizing okay, that made this whole deal a lot easier. If they were somewhere underneath my stomach, yeah, exactly. It would have made things a lot more difficult. But
yeah, you thought it was a bit redundant having two of them, but now you...
Yeah, that's what I was telling Natalie. I was like, it's too bad that we weren't born with three, because if you lose one, you're like, well, I still got two.
Still got two.
Now, when you're down to one, you're like, nothing can happen to
this one. you protect it with everything you can. Yeah, and 85% chance of being 100% clear. I haven't figured out a better way to say that. It seems kind of weird throwing two different percentages in there, but
right, you got an 85% chance of just being healthy. Much.
of it.
Well, and the CAT scan came back clear.
Yes.
All of the markers they looked for came back negative,
which is awesome.
He paid more attention than I did
and,
to the doctor.
I did. It's I've only got one son, and now he's only got one nut. So
yeah,
if I want any Admire grandbabies,
you don't want to have to rely on Trevor to continue the name on either. I don't think my cousin.
That's funny because that side of the family says the same thing about you. So.
Well, shit, I don't know. I got lucky thus far. I haven't knocked any chicks up. They may not work in general. Who knows?
Yeah, you think that. I thought the same thing, and then all of a sudden...
all of a sudden, bam, you got two of them.
Yep.
I want to get this out of the way before people get bored and stop listening. January 8th, myself, Bud, and Absorbed are traveling up to Eugene to play a show at Lucky's Private Stock. I was invited up there by this group called the Architects. It's been kind of a underground staple there for years. We used to do shows together, and finally, actually, it was the day I found out about the cancer. I also got the call about doing a show up there from Insight, and so yeah, January 8th. If you can make it, it's a Wednesday, which kind of sucks, but I'll take what I can get. I need to start performing again.
Is that the one that's the charity thing too?
No, they're doing that before.
Okay.
They do it, I think, every Wednesday, or they try to. But yeah. Oh, if you're listening and you're anywhere near Eugene, I'm not sure the exact day, but check it out. Architects, Lucky's Private Stock. They're doing a. God damn it! Do you remember what day it was? It's the 27th or the.
I can look it up.
Yeah, well, Wildkind's looking it up. They're doing a can drive for needy families. It's a hip hop show. So if you like hip hop, or if you like helping needy families, go down and check that show out. Bring some cans, and throw your hands.
Or if you like hip hop and you give a shit about other people,
Yeah.
you show up, bring some food.
Yeah, bring whatever.
What else are you gonna do?
Exactly. Spend the holidays with your family or something.
Yeah,
go watch
that's not
watch
fun.
some good hip hop. So yeah, got the new, or it's not a new album. It's a collection of songs from probably about 2006 up till about 2011. My mixtape, the Epsilon mixtape, it's finally all put together. I just gotta set up a website where I can have it for free download. Everybody will know. I'll be posting the shit out of that. And also really exciting, Bud, he joined us before for the CaveCast, but he didn't say much. I think he was nervous.
That's why I'm drinking.
But I discovered a talent, and the dude makes amazing beats, and he's got a good musical talent. We'll be moving in together and working on the next album, which is next in line is the Delta mixtape. If anybody's ever read A Brave New World, you'll understand where I'm going with the progression of the mixtapes and the names of them. I'm not gonna fucking explain it right now.
Read the books.
Yeah, exactly. Stupid. Read a book. So the Delta mixtape, I'm 10 songs deep into it right now, and me and Bud are kicking them out like every 2 weeks. So that'll be coming immediately after, I imagine, if maybe a few months. Anyways, soundcloud.com/admiremusic. Check it out. So let's get on to business. Welcome to the CaveCast, Dad. Kynes, welcome back. Glad to have you guys in. I kind of want to get the Kanye thing out of the way first.
That sounds good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I can't find the date. Sorry.
Hey,
No,
look it
waste
up
a whole lot
yourself.
of time on that douche.
Architects, Lucky Stock, or Lucky's Private Stock. Every Wednesday they have shows. They're doing a game drive. Look it up yourself if you're interested. If if you have a heart at all. Help the needy. So Kanye, the dude's fucking running amok. Seems like every time I hear him open his mouth, I shake my head. And I've never been the biggest Kanye fan. The first album that he actually put out was a good album,
Yeah,
I thought.
liked it.
And before that, I was a fan of his because all he did was make beats for Talib Kweli and Mos Def and those kind of guys, and I was always a big fan of them. But now it's just over and over. Every time he opens his mouth, it's "I'm a genius," and I don't know if he's trolling everybody. I don't know if the fucker, if he's. It's an act, but it just doesn't seem like an act.
He seems manic. Like he doesn't even seem like in control. Like it's always spastic what he's saying, or like he's losing his emotions or something. In that one interview, what was the guy's name? Lowe?
Sway?
Zane Lowe, or the English guy, the first one, the Jimmy Kimmel.
Oh, the one
spoof.
that I don't think I ever seen anything but the spoof.
It was. The guy usually sits down with rappers and he wants to talk about their recent album. Kanye refused to talk about his album. All he wanted to talk about was this clothesline. These clothes.
That's okay.
Yeah, it started
That
there.
makes sense then.
He's pissed because he wants to make designer clothes and the designers in Paris don't care about him.
Well, I'm imagining
Nike
nobody
doesn't
wants.
care about
yeah,
him.
Nike doesn't care.
Nobody
about
wants
him.
to fuck with him, probably.
Well, it's like if you want to go into business with Nike, do you really think going out and making an ass out of yourself over and over again and calling their name out is going to make everything better? I mean,
could you imagine just being in a board meeting with that guy, like,
right.
just trying to get, like, look at Sway, like the interview with Sway, like,
yeah,
the dude, he was trying to get through to him and tell him this shit, and
just
and
asking
it's just like you're
questions
talking to
about
a fucking crazy narcissistic fucking brick wall.
Well,
Yeah.
and maybe he just has no talent. You know,
Yeah.
maybe they've looked at his stuff and, you know,
I guess
they probably
it could
laugh
just
about
come
it behind
down to
his
that.
back.
Yeah,
That's what I was thinking. I was just because you're Kanye West and you can do one thing good, doesn't mean everything you do is brilliant. Even they might have given him a real fair, shot and said, "Let's see your designs," and they didn't like them. It's totally possible.
Well, when on the Sway interview, he was comparing himself to Shakespeare and all these, literary geniuses.
you don't do it like I do it, Sway. You don't do it like I do. You don't be
You
doing
don't know
this.
what it's like. Yeah.
Yeah, fucking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a racist conspiracy because he has no talent. So.
Yeah, exactly. It's what he's trying to make.
Obama
himself
don't
think
care
of.
about black people. Nike don't care about black people.
Yeah, he made these Nike shoes, the Yeezus. Isn't that what they're called?
I think I'm
Yeezus
pretty sure
line.
that's his new album.
And the
is
one-
what that
Yeah.
is called too.
The
But
one that was supposed to come out in October was the Red October.
Yep. And he's claiming to be dicked around. He claimed that these shoes sell more than any other Nike shoe, and Nike won't let him design other shoes. And people like Sway are saying to him, "Why do you need anybody?
Yeah.
Why don't you just
You got
start
millions.
Why don't you just do what Jay-Z and Puff Daddy did and start Sean John or whatever? Do your own thing." But it's a big conspiracy with him, and it's because he's such a genius that they don't want to. I mean, these companies, they want to make money. If you have a product that's going to sell, then they're going to do business with
Yeah.
you because they want a piece of it. The reason they don't want to work with him is either his clothes suck or he's so much of an asshole that they don't even want the benefit of the money to work with him.
He's toxic.
Yeah.
And I mean, look at us talking about him right now.
Yeah.
That's the way the world's talking about him, and he doesn't realize it.
Yeah, which it's sometimes it's good when you got people talking about you, bad or good. Like where they say there's no bad promotion, it's only just promotion.
The only thing worse than being talked about is not being talked
Right,
about.
right, yeah. And even that's not working for him. He's got people talking, and he still can't do it. So it's like, man, I don't want to spend too much time trying to break into the psyche of this fucking idiot.
Yeah, you're not.
But
It's
I just
basically-
I
yeah.
can't help but to just wonder, like, where the fuck do you get this stuff? Like, do you have that many yes men around you just saying, like, okay, if you're gonna name your album Yeezus, it's got to be tongue in cheek, it's got to be.
Not serious, like
Yeah, that's what I thought. I gave him credit for it at
Like
first
he's
because
the
he used to
second
be
coming.
kind of funny,
Yeah.
like in his first album. I didn't listen to the second one all that much. I don't even know what number he's on now, but that's kind of what I thought at first. Like, oh yeah, that's kind of funny, Yeezus, and then you listen to him talking. It's like he really thinks that he's the savior of the music industry and the fashion industry and
Biggest rock star on the planet is what he called
yeah,
himself.
God, I can't.
Well, he went
even-
off because his album wasn't nominated for Album of the Year. I think it was on the hip hop album, but not the album of the year.
He got mad at Sway because they didn't put him high enough on the list. Charlemagne said the same thing you did. I don't remember. Charlemagne is a radio guy.
Okay.
And
Is he on Shade also, or?
I think so. That's where I saw this interview, and if you go look up Charlemagne, like attacks Kanye or something like that on YouTube, you'll see the video. And Charlemagne said the same thing. He goes, "Who are these people you're running around with? Like who? What's going on?" He's like, "You need." And he told Kanye, he's like, "You need people around you to tell you when you're being stupid and when your music sucks."
He straight up told what Kanye do.
He backed down a little bit, but
Which that's kind of what he did with
he
Sway
just kind of
too.
tried to change the subject. Well, this is what I'm doing right now and stuff like that. But Charlemagne was basically saying, "Don't you got anybody around? Who are these people?" He was getting at the same point, like, "Don't you got anybody around that takes care of you or actually does care about how this dumb choice you're making?"
If you get to the level where you can't check yourself, you got to have a good friend there that's gonna say something, or family.
But you see so many of these guys, whether they be sports icons or music icons, that especially if they've come from nothing and made a name for themselves. Which I don't think that was Kanye West came from wealthy. I mean, he's upper middle class.
Yeah.
But people that come from the street that have have nothing and have a talent that they can sell. And the people that come along, the shoestring people that ride the coattails, I guess, they enable this behavior. They tell you you're the best thing, and pretty soon, if you hear it enough, you're going to start believing it.
Yeah, and because a lot of those people, even though they secretly love you and they need you to succeed, because they get some of that, they secretly, but they secretly hate you at the same time. They don't really love you. They want the trickle down from what you make, but there's a part of them that despises you. Mike Tyson talked about that. Yeah. Mike Tyson talked about, the leeches that hung onto him, and you get this feeling that they love you, but then you find out in the long run that they hated your guts the whole time, and they were just
talking about you behind your back, and they're the leak,
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
The sex tape comes out, your album drops early on the internet. I mean, it's these guys that you're taking care of, and it just a lot of these guys don't see it until it's already in the rear view, and then it's only a retrospect that they see what happened.
Yeah, right after they file bankruptcy.
Yeah, they go, oh, okay, those guys weren't my friends.
Well, just like on a smaller level, like if you're in that lifestyle for so long, where you almost like don't need to, try to better yourself. It's like you read books to, you get different ideas, you get, better vocabulary, you do stuff like that, and you look into things, and you have to think deeply about things, and when you make it big, like you said, off of one talent, all that stuff goes to the wayside. Like, you don't have to focus on it because it's not important anymore, and then I think you lose out on a whole bunch.
That's what it seems one of the problems, his problem right now, and it's like it's other people's problem too. He's doing so much and got so much on his plate, and he's choosing to do. You just need to have him go, like Kanye, go sit down. Just go sit down, man. Take a nap. Take a couple weeks off. Don't think about anything, and while you're laying out by the beach, eat some mushrooms. Think about how you look and what you're doing right now. I bet you if he did that, he would come back and be a little different. You'd be like, wow.
Just be able to see himself from a different point of view.
Yeah, just go chill out somewhere. Stop it.
Well, there's very few people that can be superstars in more than one thing.
Uh-huh.
You look at Michael Jordan tried to quit basketball and play baseball, and he sucked. You might be at the high school and maybe at the collegiate level, be able to succeed in both.
Yeah.
But once you take that next step, you're not, and just because you're a hip hop star or you have a music talent doesn't mean you know shoes or fashion or
well, there's got to be something said, like Jay-Z did it. Jay-Z, he successfully did it himself.
But that's why Kanye's mad. He wants everything that he touches to turn into gold and go as big as it can. As big as his rap career did, but not everything's gonna go that big. You're not.
I don't think Kyle. You're not doing this on the Tommy
Yeah.
Hill. You ain't Tommy Hill for your level. But
I don't know. How could I know? But if all these people don't want to work with you, but you can't say it's because of race, because they did work with Jay-Z.
Exactly.
They did work with Sean. Sean Combs. They worked with plenty of these guys. They worked with 50 Cent.
Yeah. 50.
They did the G Units.
And they did sneakers and.
So come on.
And I don't think many white people know that vitamin water is 50 cents a large.
Yeah.
I don't think he wants white people to know that he owns a big portion of vitamin water because they'll stop drinking it.
These corporations that he's talking about that are racist, they work with guys all the time. Beyonce's Pepsi right now. I mean, isn't she? Doesn't Beyonce?
Yeah, I think so.
Beyonce just did a big deal with Pepsi, so it's you, man. It's not.
And that's I was going to say, there comes a point in your life with whether it be relationships aren't working out the way you think they should, or your job isn't working out the way you think it should, that the first thing you got to do is look in a mirror.
Yeah.
Look in that mirror and see, okay, is it me?
Yeah.
Am I the problem here?
Is there a million assholes out there, or is it just one asshole?
Well, yeah, when everything's going wrong, there's a common denominator, and it's all happening to me. Well, what am I doing? Am I being an asshole at work? And they can all be connected to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Your relationship going bad could turn you into an asshole at work, could turn you into a bad father, could turn you into, they can all be connected, and if you just find what's going on, you might be able to fix it.
That's why those people that you ever meet the compulsive liars, the one-upsmanship kind of people.
Yes.
And I look at them, some like trying to have a conversation, and it's like, really, dude, you know? You're like, yeah, I went down to Tahoe and played. Oh yeah, I played music down there, you know, blah blah blah. Yeah, I drank 2 beers last night. Yeah, I drank 3 beers last night. It's no big deal or anything. And it's like, how have you gotten this far in life without somebody just checking you on it? You know, like, and I guess I can't, because I hardly ever do, because I don't see the point in, like, because it seems to be every time you do that to somebody where you try to put it right in front of their face exactly what's going on, and, you know, like, from a different point of view, you know, the blinders go down, and you're just like the whole Sway and Kanye thing. You're talking to a brick wall at that point, and it's like, okay, what's the fucking point?
And
like,
he tried to make him look in a mirror.
Yeah, nobody's gonna do it if you can't do it yourself.
Big of a
nobody's gonna be able to make you see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyways, fuck him. I think we're done with that conversation. Funny you brought up Mike Tyson. We were talking about him the other day, and Evander Holyfield. I heard on the, I don't know if you heard it on the Experience, that they're trying to sell. Evander Holyfield had like 100 or a 90 room mansion with just all of this land around it and everything, and he ended up getting taken from him by the bank. And
that happened to Tyson too.
Yeah.
But Evander's house.
But Evander's, yeah. And the bank tried to auction it off, and nobody bid on it. So now it is up for sale for $6.8 million, which is a fucking steal of a lifetime.
It cost $1 million a year.
For upkeep.
Yeah, that's why nobody wants it. He built such a huge house that you would have to be a giant, crazy, like, Eastern oil tycoon to live in that thing, pretty much.
Have your whole fucking family working on the grounds, try to save some money or something.
It was way too big of a house. I mean, and that's a lot of those guys have that problem. They go out and they think their money is never ending, and
God will take care of me.
Yeah, and they want to have the biggest and the best, and it's got to be bigger than, you know, the last champion's house. And
it's amazing. Jordan's done it right. Like, he's got a huge gambling problem, but you know, he's got money coming. He's made sure all of his sponsorships he was getting a piece, you know, of the company at the time too. Like, I don't think they'll do that for any athletes anymore. I think they wisened up because Jordan owns all kinds of shit now, and they don't want you like that. They can't
get rid of him.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, $6.8 million. I was just thinking, like, somebody, you don't buy that house to live in it at this point. You got to turn it into some sort of a resort or something like that, where you can start making money off of it.
They'll do something.
Somebody will do that, yeah.
Bed and breakfast?
Yeah, exactly.
Hotel. It's 109
chair
rooms.
Lunch dinner. Is that Mitch Hedberg?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna buy a chair lunch dinner and put it right across from the bed and breakfast. About 12:30. Come over. You can't sleep in the chair though. You got to go to a bed and breakfast. Man, he was great. We talked about Mitch Hedberg on here before, I think, haven't we?
Yeah, there's a video of his girlfriend or ex-wife.
Really?
Lynn Croft, I think is her name. They're doing this. It's called Modern Comedians. If you put that in YouTube, there's a bunch of different blogs where they interview comedians for this documentary. And her part, there's a 14-minute video where she talks about Mitch, and it shows some footage of Mitch, and then she reads you some of his, and shows you some of his handwriting and jokes.
Really?
Yeah,
I never saw that. You remember him? The rose-colored glasses, long hair. He was on that 70s show. He's like, he had the real kind of dry delivery. Somebody asked me if I wanted a frozen banana. I said no, but I want a regular banana later. So yes.
It was all like short one.
Yeah, he's the real short jokes.
It was great.
Escalators should never say temporarily out of service. It should say temporarily stairs. All right, so moving on. The big news this week. Quite an emotional week. I wanted to put up on Facebook. Did you guys hear the big news? how sad, and then talk about GSP, right? And the same day there was a school shooting. I thought that might be a little insensitive.
Yeah.
But yeah, so was it Colorado?
Again,
Yeah, those fuckers are Aurora. There was another
Littleton.
Columbine is Colorado.
Centennial High School was only, I think, 12 miles from Columbine.
God damn. Is that where the
the
shooting
latest one was? Yeah.
So, I didn't look into it super far, but I know he basically walked into the school with a shotgun in his hand and had Molotov cocktails in his backpack. Asked for a specific teacher. The thing that I loved about it was they said the teacher made a strategic move to leave the school to draw him out. I'm like, bullshit. You saw a guy with a shotgun asking for you and you fucking bolted. It's not, There was no bravery to it. I mean, I would have done the same thing. I'm not saying I wouldn't, but, they're trying to make it into...
Make him into a hero?
And then I seen the sheriff said something about the reason it ended so quickly was because of the quick response, of the cops, and it was basically as soon as he was confronted, he
strategically ran for his fucking life.
Yeah, exactly.
Which, we all have that fight or flight instinct, and if he's got a gun and you don't, run.
Yeah. Most likely that's what you're gonna do.
No, he made the right choice, but it was
no strategy. It was funny. Yeah, strategic. He made a strategic
like he
move.
said.
Was he acting like one of those killdeer? Was he acting like he was wounded and just walking away to draw him out? Or
that'd be pretty strategic. That's some strategy.
Or did he just run?
Right.
So, I don't know. Did you guys look into it? I saw there was a couple of wounded. Nobody died, right? Besides him.
One gal's critical.
She was shot. He shot people.
2 people.
Okay. With the shotgun.
With a shotgun.
Okay.
And he bought the shotgun legally.
He's 18.
Which is another thing, I'm like, oh God, what are they going to do here,
Yeah, but that's the thing. I think you said on that Facebook post something about, wasn't it Colorado that made harsh gun laws?
Yes.
And there you go. It's just doesn't matter. If somebody's going to do that sort of thing.
It's not about guns.
Yeah, exactly.
Jesus, don't get me going on guns. But,
no, I know.
I don't see a reason not to.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is Colorado, they passed some pretty strict gun laws, probably the most in the country, like most strict.
Right after Sandy Hook, they passed the magazine limit, and there was a couple other ones, and 2 of those, the Senate president and another senator, were both recalled, removed from their position because they were not representing the will of the people. The people tried to talk to them about it, and they pretty much laughed at them and said, you know what? We can do whatever we want.
Right. That's awesome. Colorado seems to be kind of, I think they're, as far as progressiveness and really doing their own thing, they're
and I think the most amazing thing, they were in districts that were primarily Democrats. They were Democratic senators, but it was across the board, bipartisan, both sides of the aisle. As far as the vote goes, the people that voted to recall them, they're just you and I. They're just people out there that maybe we differ on our political views, but when something's wrong, it's wrong.
That's a good story. That's a cool story because it just never happens.
Right.
The freak party is alive and well still in Colorado. Isn't that where Hunter S. Thompson ran for sheriff? And I forget what the...
He was in Aspen. Yeah, he ran for sheriff. Yeah, he loved Colorado till he died, pretty much. But he did, so they passed maybe the strictest gun laws in the country, and then nothing. I mean, it just didn't. It doesn't make a difference. It's about mental health, and it's about it's more of a social thing than a gun law thing. I mean, people that don't want big clips, it takes a second or 2 to change a clip. I'll just bring more small clips with me. It doesn't matter. That sort of stuff is a waste of time.
And the Virginia Tech shooter had 10-round mags. He didn't have a 17,
which is the legal. Oh, not in New York because they say what
7, I think.
Yeah, 7.
Right. So I'll bring 3.7 and I'll have 21 rounds, and it'll just take me a second to slap my clip, and it's a waste of time. It's stupid.
Yeah.
It's not the gun. It doesn't matter. Most of these shootings, it wouldn't have mattered that if you had those in effect or not, because they got their weapons illegally.
Right.
If you had the background check, they do have a background check if you go to buy a gun. You went with me when I bought mine and had to sit through a background check. And, it doesn't matter. If you're crazy, you're going to find a way to kill people.
Yeah. And crazy people don't always show it, in a way which gets you, a bad background check, They could be crazy for years and not ever act on it. And so they got clean records.
Did you see the thing in Wichita, Kansas, at the Wichita airport? 58-year-old man. He got radicalized to Islam on the internet. He started posting on it. Well, the FBI caught wind. They basically set him up like they did the bomber in, I won't say set up because that's not what it, they tried to enable him. And he went along. He drove his car, which he thought had a bomb in it, used his security clearance at the airport. He was an information technician, and drove through a locked gate by swiping his card with a car that he thought was full of explosives. 58-year-old white man.
That's crazy. And
this was just the other day, and he was gonna try to kill as many people as he could. It was a suicide mission, and thankfully.
So they busted him by finding what he was saying online, pretty much.
That's how they got onto him, and then just similar to what happened up in Portland with that kid that wanted to set off those bombs at the tree lighting a couple years ago.
Yeah.
They befriended him, and made him think that they thought like he did, and they busted him after he went through the gate. They waited till he swiped his card. Said, okay, here clearly you've shown that you think you've got a bomb in your car, and so.
Wow.
58-year-old white man. I mean,
He converted to Islam and then was.
I don't know if he was converted,
Islamic,
but he became radicalized on with some of those websites and stuff on the internet.
Now, since we're on the whole shootings and everything, I kind of wanted to. This happened a few weeks ago, but I wanted to bring it up because I was kind of curious about it. I think we talked about it. The whole Yale thing. There was supposedly a shooter on the loose, like somebody supposedly called the cops and said that my roommate said he's going to go out and kill a bunch of people. He has a rifle or something like that, and they locked the whole campus down, and they never found a shooter. They arrested a couple people that were they were suspect, but they cleared them and let them go. But what they ended up doing was the police force went from room to room and searched the rooms. Even this is hours into it, where they couldn't find anybody. And Yale, the college, told all their students, lock your doors, don't let anybody in, even if they identify themselves as police. And then so the students were not letting them in, and they were basically breaking their way in anyways and searching the rooms from room to room. Just kind of made I know it sounds really conspiracy theorist, but it's like the smartest kids in America, are at these schools, Yale and Harvard, and
right.
And who knows what they could be working on or what they're figuring out, or whatever. I'm not smart enough to understand what goes on at Yale, but
right.
That's where all the smartest people come from, and it just seemed like a big ruse to me, like in order to go searching room to room to room for whatever, fucking, as an example, like blueprints of a fucking an engine that runs on hydrogen.
What were they looking for? They were looking for something else, and that was their That was their in.
And then more and more as time goes on, these 20 years ago, that idea would have made me seem like a crazy person, but it's almost a little more reasonable these days. And as time goes on, it just kind of, all the shootings and stuff, like you said, after Sandy Hook was when they got those gun laws passed, and it just that's an extreme case, but it's just kind of it's all fishy.
I think it was like Machiavelli basically said, I don't remember the exact saying, but he's like, you don't let a tragedy go to waste. Like during a tragedy, is a perfect time to implement things or do things or slip things under, uppercuts or get behind areas or push stuff through. Mm-hmm. You don't let a good tragedy go to waste.
It's based on emotion, not sound reasoning.
Right, and that's something that politicians and governors and things have done since whenever Machiavelli was around. I mean,
which was the 1400s.
I mean, yeah, he that's what you. And then when you think about that, that's where people started to get into conspiracies about orchestrated tragedies and stuff.
Right.
That's why people can draw those conspiracies, but you don't need to. I mean, there's you just take something that's bad and expose it. Sandy Hook happened, so people who want stricter gun laws went right into trying to get stricter gun laws based off of Sandy Hook.
And,
they didn't waste any time. I mean, it was the same night. They were like, we need gun laws. It was the exact night that it happened.
Those people, they have a book that was, and I don't recall, I know Bloomberg's organization, Mayors Against Illegal Guns, was a big funder of it, but they have a playbook for, in case of a tragedy, how to respond, how to reply to people that have sound logical arguments or why you're full of shit. They try to make you look stupid, but they got a book that tells you, tells these anti-gun organizations how to react in instances like Sandy Hook. And the book was out before Sandy Hook. It's what else is out there? You want to know what the end game is.
Right.
Back in we talked about the buffalo. The government wiping out the buffalo, saying it was for their hides and for tallow and stuff, but when in fact it was a government program to put the Indians on the reservations. What was their number one? All the Plains Indian, that buffalo was it. I mean, that was their main source, and of food and clothing and shelter, and we wiped them out. The government went in and literally, we all know the history of the buffalo.
Well,
I mean, literally destroyed them.
To where
got all the Indians on the reservation.
Yeah, there's hardly any left. And
fields of. I just read Stephen Reinella's American Buffalo, the history of a lost icon. I think it's the name of the book, and he talks about the same thing. It was, there was guys that recounted seeing fields just covered in buffalo, dead buffalo. I mean, and the only thing, some of them had the hide stripped off of them. Some of them are just totally wasted,
just rotting. Yeah.
Because it was a strategic attack against them so that they could get rid of the food
hear about,
source.
well, take these blankets, you guys are cold, it's winter, take these blankets.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, shit. Is that
smallpox?
What's that? We never had, what is this happening to my body? We never had to deal with this before, because...
Right.
And because of those kind of things, there is nothing that I'll put past our government.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, the Patriot Act,
that's the very beginning. I mean,
I don't, I can't say with full confidence ever, probably, that it was a fucking a workup, that's just, you can't,
But you got to wonder.
But yeah, you have to. You have to question
skepticism.
But it's probably a mix. The Patriot Act is probably a mixture of some sound ideas that make sense against counterterrorism and things that they just were overboard and are abuse of their power. Right. So it's if you went and look, I don't know what the whole Patriot Act contains, but there's probably some stuff in there that maybe makes sense, and then there's stuff where they were just grasping a little bit more than they should. And
there's those little laws that they throw, and they make a big blanket statement thing, and then they throw one thing in here to try to get it through, maybe you won't read that,
but it's a law that never ever would have been passed without 9/11.
Exactly.
It never would have happened. There was no way they could have got it through, so they had to have a trigger.
Exploited
what
tragedy.
Was the trigger? Let's Fast and Furious. This is one of my pet. The government came out years ago, Hillary Clinton, and saying that 90% of all weapons used in illegal crime and murders in Mexico could be traced to America. Well, that's not true. 90% of the guns that the Mexican government sent here to be traced because they knew they came from us. Yeah, but they didn't tell you that only 15% of the guns they sent to be traced that they recovered. I mean, a very small percentage of the guns, and they only sent the ones that they knew came from America.
Yeah,
right.
So, well, okay, you're picking you're not telling the whole story, And then our government allows these guns to walk into Mexico, several thousand guns that have turned up at crime scenes that are traced, and the gun dealers alerted the government about it and said, hey, this guy's buying 9 of these guns, okay, yeah, let him do it, we'll watch it. And they never watched it. They never tracked the weapons. They let them go into Mexico, and it probably would have got, if it hadn't been for Brian Terry being murdered by one of those weapons, we probably wouldn't have known about it.
What was the point of it, though? Weren't they
to
supposed
prove their lie?
With the point that they claimed, though, weren't they claiming that they were going to track the weapons?
Well, they said they were,
Yeah,
but
okay.
they never had any intention of doing that.
Okay, that's what I thought.
They actually have come out and said they had no way of tracking them. And people say, well, Bush had Operation Wide Receiver. He did. They lost about 5 weapons. They cut it off. When they found out they could not track those weapons, they stopped the program. The Obama administration took that program and fed it some steroids and amped it up, and that's what led to Fast and Furious. And now we have a president who's declaring executive privilege to keep papers from the committee investigating it. Why? What are you trying to hide?
Maybe the only reason why you don't want, my family members are in a situation against each other right now, where one wants to see paperwork from the other one, and the other one doesn't want to show it. The only reason you won't show something is because you're afraid of the consequences.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
What are the consequences? It's obviously you did something wrong.
You have something to hide.
Yeah.
Well, and if you get away with one little thing here, then you're gonna be able to get away with that forever. And just like the NSA thing, like it's almost like people don't even give a shit anymore. It's like, yeah, okay, yeah, they're
because you get used to
spying on us and
I'm not doing anything wrong, so I'm not concerned about it. I don't have anything to hide. But what's the end game? Again, I always get to that. What's the end game here? What are they? They want you to register all. The gun control wants you to register weapons. Why?
Mm-hmm.
They want access to the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms trace information, which the police can get that information of where weapons went, but you don't want everybody in the world out there knowing it, or you have newspapers printing reports of who's got guns and who's got a concealed carry permit, and
it's like a dog that tests you, like a puppy that you're
or a child
that you're trying, yeah, exactly, or a child that you're trying to teach, and it'll test you. It'll fucking go up and ain't supposed to be on the couch. Well, he comes up and sidles up to you, and you look over, all of a sudden he's on the couch. Well, you let him get away with it, he's gonna think he can get on the couch all the time, or just anything like that, and it's just little bits at a time.
And they know they can get the population.
I don't mean to compare the government to a cute little puppy.
The population is so it's pretty much half and half, isn't it? That's Democrat, Republican. Like
that's pretty close.
Pretty close. Yeah, it seems to be.
And I don't know how, if it's always been this bad, but for quite a while now, the one half versus the other half is so at each other's throats that they won't admit anything wrong on their side. They won't admit a bad idea. They won't get, like, if I came up with a great idea, they would not accept the idea just because it came from my side, and back and forth. It's so bad that they protect each other and refuse to listen to anything else. So
even deep down, if they thought, God, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
But he's a fucking Democrat.
How can we spin this into a Republican idea?
But that's so.
Just put a little tweak on it.
What we don't realize is that they put on this. A lot of them put on this show of hating each other and being enemies, but they're in on things together, and they know that the population is so just that when they try to pass these things or get them through, we're going to spend all this time fighting ourselves instead of doing what he said they did in Colorado, which is saying, hey man, this is horseshit. Let's agree to, stop fighting for a second and agree on this one thing and fix it. So they can draw up just about anything at this point and find a way to get it through because we can't agree on anything as a population.
You talk about politicians that behind closed doors they get along. Did you see the picture of Obama, his selfie?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, it led to a bunch of other pictures of President Bush, Bill Clinton. They all rode Air Force One there together.
Yeah.
It shows them sitting at a table having dinner. They're looking at George Bush's paintings, which he's quite talented, by the way.
Actually, yeah.
The dogs and shit.
He's not bad.
Looking at but they're Clinton and Bush sitting together in the stadium and they're talking and laughing but they need us divided
Right.
Yes.
You know, if the people ever said, wait a minute, this is horse shit, we got to do something about this, like they did in Colorado on that recall, well, they're in trouble.
Right.
You know, these lifetime, you know, the Nancy Pelosi's, the Harry Reids, the John Boehner or Boehner, I don't know, whatever you say, you know, these guys that have been politicians forever, both sides of the aisle, there's got to be a way to get, we got to get them out.
Yeah.
You know, and you know they'll never vote in term limits. You know, they exempt themselves, or some of them have exempted themselves and their staffs from Obamacare. They get a lifetime freaking pension. It's bullshit. They could work 8 years and get a lifetime pension.
Right.
And move on to the private industry and do whatever they do. You know.
I mean, my dad talked about that. We compared it to a little town like, if you take a little town like Roseburg and you take you know, like attorneys and the public defenders, and you know, in the courtroom they're against each other, but when the court's over they'll go eat with each other and stuff like that. Yeah. People think that, you know, they are fighting each other in the courtroom, but they think that once that's over with that they're still enemies when they leave the courtroom, and that there's no way that there could be a friendship between the two of them, or that they can't have mutual interests because they're on opposite sides.
Then you see them playing golf together.
Yeah, the truth is both of them are making money in that courtroom,
and that doesn't necessarily mean that there's total corruption there, but people, when people see Boehner versus, you know, Reid, they assume, and those two might actually hate each other. I don't know, but not a lot of it is a little bit of an act to keep the population on two different sides and at each other's throat. They're closer friends. Those guys are closer and have more mutual interests than the population they're on the two sides do.
Right.
They're, you know, they want at least one side, whichever side it is, really wants that. They really want both sides to just, and to argue over stupid stuff. I mean, instead of arguing about important stuff, there's always going to be this issue that we're at each other's throats over, like gay marriage, or if it's not gay marriage, it's something else, which isn't, it's something that's worth talking about and maybe debating, but it's not the most important thing. But it ends up being what we end up arguing about, instead of important things. And
a lot of these things, it's the special interests that are driving, I don't know, with this budget proposal that they've agreed on, a bipartisan effort, and then now Boehner is, you know, he's kind of gone after some of the Tea Party, more ultra-conservative groups, saying, you know, you guys need to get over it. And, you know, so now they're fighting, you know, because the special interest didn't get everything they wanted. So now they're going to withhold and, you know, their support or their money or whatever it is. But, you know, you say they have a common ground, and that common ground is self-preservation. If you're a politician, you know, getting reelected is all that really matters to them.
Yeah, you don't want to lose your bankroll.
You know, exactly. And there's so much more that goes. You know, they employ their friends. They make friends in other industries where they have jobs to go to. Yeah. You know, these huge. Do a favor for this guy, and then when your time's done, if you get voted out, hey man, I got your back.
You go work for Goldman and Sachs when you're no longer working for a cabinet, and it happens. If you go look it up. I mean, you don't have to, look it up. These guys go back and forth. There's guys that work with these big banks that go become politicians. There's politicians that get jobs with these big banks. It goes back and forth all the time.
On that note, I think we should take a break. I need to go check the Cowboys score, make sure they're still kicking the shit out of the Packers, because I was talking shit on Facebook earlier. But we will leave you right now with the brand new song from the collaboration of myself and Bud Martindale. It is called Through the Flames. It's sort of getting cancer related. That's what the idea I started out with, and then it kind of moseyed off as a lot of my songs tend to do into other ideas and whatnot. But here's the new song from us. It's called Through the Flames. This one is a special listen to because you won't hear it again until we get a video made for it. I've been doing this for 8 years. It's time to have a music video, I think, and get famous. So anyways, here it is. It's called Through the Flames. It'll be off the Delta mixtape. It's an exclusive, and we'll be right back to talk about GSP, and I also want to talk about the since you brought up the Mandela thing, the sign language guy. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So
and if you notice in the background, I am doing sign language to this song. So.
We think, anyways.
This fall from grace was. This fall from grace was. This fall from grace was getting old. Feels like these flames have left me whole. I move right through the flames to get to you. I move right through the flames to get to you. It's hard to kill a demon when he's hiding in your body. Though we used to be the life of the party. Slip for a little bit, then he thought he got me. Till I stopped living like a zombie. So what you want from me? I've been beating back the shadow constantly. Up to me to be strong in the oncoming battle. Sitting low and back in the saddle. Don't want this to go on longer than it has to. So wink the tattoo, move on, kick rocks. I'm the one to take a long walk off a short dock. Put the fire out, nothing to cry about. Spend them somewhere else when you see the next sign of drought. It went south when I flipped over the compass. Went against assumptions, left the oven running. With the candles burning low, got a handle on my soul. If it matters, I don't know, but it's something. Cold wind in my face, heat behind me. Figments of a masterpiece I'm still designing. Take the tough way, I'm earning my swan song. By the time the ashes hit the ground, I'll be long gone. I move right through the flames to get to you. I move right through the flames to get to you. I got love for the people that are still in my life. Even though I may have hurt them more than 1 or 2 times. And I got some for the venomous that left the poison in me. Time heals all, and I know it was mostly friendly fire. Might have took shrapnel, I don't know. But all the heavy fire had me digging a hole. Bullet dodger, no hits, I'm certain. Plus you probably don't know that you're a terrible person. Drop the bird and do more than just survive. You'll never make it out of this universe alive. When the sun is swollen, old and ready to explode, everybody finds the other side of the rabbit hole. Peep the magical master flow. Merch table got everybody trading in their cash for gold. Last to show, first to believe. Rain dancers still got some tricks up my sleeve. And I move right through the flames to get to you. I move right through the flames to get to you. This fall from grace was. This fall from grace was. This fall from grace was getting close to get to you. Feels like these rhymes have left me close to get to you. This fall from grace was getting close to get to you. Feels like these rhymes have left me close to get to you.
Are we live?
Yes, we're back live. So that's it. Through the Flames. That's the new song. Me and Bud. Just listening to it just now, I just like realizing like how sick Bud is getting. Like that dude.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool that you got him.
I found
You
a
got him
gem.
going, yeah.
I found a gem for sure, and it just I don't know. It worked out that we've been friends for 10 plus years, and now he's gonna move in. it's even gonna get better. So, anyways, yeah. If you liked that, go check out the other shit. SoundCloud.com/AdmireMusic and YouTube. I think it's Admire Music 1 is the YouTube page. Danny Admire. Whatever. If you want it bad enough, just find it. It's there. So yeah, we wanted to get into a couple days ago GSP. We weren't sure if it was going to happen or not, but he just actually vacated the title and still won't say that he's retiring, but he just says he needs to take a step back from the sport for a while. He wants a break, and he said if I come back, it'll be on my own terms and I'll be happier. And he wants to breathe correctly again because it's too much pressure for him. Basically, that's his main reason. So, Robbie Lawler and Johnny Hendricks fight for the title. I think it's UFC 172. It'll be February or March or something like that.
Who did he just fight?
Johnny Hendricks. And that's who everybody thought that Hendricks won.
That's good that he gets to fight for it then. Cause
yeah.
I didn't see that. I still haven't seen the fight, but a lot of the people that talked about it, that I talked to about it, thought that GSP lost.
Yeah, I thought he did.
But that they said it was close.
It was a really close fight, and GSP did what he had to make it close enough to where, it wasn't an obvious.
It wasn't total conspiracy.
Yeah, it wasn't complete. I mean, but yeah, you see Hendricks' face, and I know it's not all that counts, but man, fucking St. Pierre looked like some hamburger. Did you ever see it?
Yeah, I saw. Okay. I saw pictures.
So yeah.
I respect that he's. Can you imagine a more brutal way to make a living?
No.
Right.
I mean, training, you're getting the shit beat out of you. You're working until you can't work anymore every day, and then you get in a fight, and you've got 25 minutes or 15 minutes, whatever, or maybe just 1 minute, but the stress of that type of, you're going to get hit, it's going to hurt, yet you go in there and you do it anyway,
against the best in
the
business.
Right. No matter how good you are, you're going to get hit.
Yeah.
And all it takes is one on the button to.
And he's been getting hit more and more lately, too.
And that happens.
Yeah.
I mean, the further they go in their careers, the more hits they take, the easier it is to hit them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's happening to Floyd in boxing.
God, I hope so.
Yeah, Floyd's been getting hit more and more in every fight because his reflexes are slowing down. He's 36, almost 37.
Yeah, well, people criticize St. Pierre, but you know what? Like, what else do you expect? Do you expect him to take the Chuck Liddell route and just start getting knocked out and stay in the cage? Wait, the dude's had well over 5 hours of fighting in the cage.
Yeah,
like inside the cage, he's spent more than 5 hours.
Not counting training.
No, I'm saying fighting, like in a UFC cage. He's been in the octagon. And that's not even counting the fights he had before he got to the UFC.
He still has to have a brain left when he retires. I mean,
yeah, you don't want to be a mush mouth like who's the boxer?
There's handfuls.
Yeah, but I remember how sad it was because seeing Foreman, because when I was a kid and started watching boxing, he was well out of his heyday, but he was still taking fights.
Holyfield slurs really bad. He's still going. Holyfield is talking about fighting again.
Yeah,
coming up.
Joe Frazier, Kenny Norton,
Ali has Parkinson's.
Ali, yeah, and
now don't they say that wasn't because of boxing?
They try to, but it's like really
whatever. Yeah.
You're getting punched in the head a whole bunch. It's not good for you, no matter which way you look at it. And St. Pierre had to have been concussed, whether slightly or not, like after that fight with Hendricks, because
like Rogan said, he's talking about being abducted by aliens.
Yeah,
because he's missing chunks of time that he doesn't know where.
Yeah, he says he'll be driving and then all of a sudden he'll be somewhere and forget the whole drive. Like he just missed. That's what he said. That's exactly what he said was chunks of time.
Yeah, and that's because he's taking a pounding, and it doesn't take a million punches. Like he said, it's one on the button, one wrong hit, your brain rattles in your head, whatever. It can be one thing. Like
yeah, and I
one
don't
time.
think your brain ever fully recovers from a concussion.
They're learning more and more about
you
it.
get-
Yeah.
yeah, and then you got the
Well,
NFL
shoot,
players.
They just exhumed Javon Belcher.
Yeah,
So
is
they
that
could
why they
study-
did that?
Yeah, so they could study
the
his brain.
Kansas City Chiefs guy that shot his girlfriend. That's the same dude. He went to
Yeah, shot her
Arrowhead.
9 times and then
He
killed
went to
himself.
Arrowhead and called out Crennel and everybody and just said thanks for everything you guys did for me and blew his brains out right in front of him.
Wow.
And yeah, so
Junior Seau.
Yeah.
He shot himself in the chest because he
And
knew
he wasn't
there was
the
something
first.
wrong. He wanted right, exactly, not the first.
yeah, so I mean, goddamn, and it's the two sports that I love too. It sucks, and they're changing the rules in NFL. Like I think they're trying to make it safer. And I heard a good idea the other day. It's like take away all the fucking pads. Like go back to leather helmets. Motherfuckers won't be flying around the field trying to take your head off. You know, if it hurts them just
What's
as
the
bad.
instance of concussion in rugby?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's the thing is that the pads make you feel invincible,
Right.
or more invincible, and a helmet doesn't protect you from a concussion. A concussion is your brain rattling in your head, pretty much, right? So, it protects the outside
Just
of your
like
head,
Dale,
but the impact is still going to cause a concussion.
Yeah, the race car Dale Earnhardt.
Yeah.
He's got all the safety equipment on and everything, but it doesn't stop your brain from moving around in that liquid in your fucking skull.
And then, still 200-pound guys that run fast, hitting each other, and it's still the impact.
Yeah.
And so, it's crazy as it sounds, taking the pads off would probably help.
Yeah.
Well, they say the instance, that helmets have actually probably made the problem worse because the guys do feel that gives them something to,
right.
to launch.
You're not me and him aren't gonna get excited and come up to each other and just headbutt each other right in the face, because we're excited, but we got helmets on.
Right.
It's like,
yeah, when you got a fullback coming up the middle and you're a linebacker, you'd behave differently if you both weren't wearing helmets.
Exactly. Yeah.
You just would.
Yeah,
You would
neither
tackle
one of you'd put your head down.
Right.
For sure.
It'd be different.
So yeah, it is what it is, and
The plus side, no more face mask penalties.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Might be some eye gouging.
Yes, a few eye gouges, I imagine.
Fish hooking.
Can you imagine the scrum at the bottom of a fumble pile with no face mask on? God damn. Fucking big sausage fingers getting into your mouth, just tearing at your cheeks.
GSP did, yeah, he made the right choice.
I think so too. I respect him for it. He, up until this last fight, he dominated everybody pretty much. He almost got knocked out by Condit, but other than that, he dominated.
Matt Serra.
Oh, well, okay. Well, yeah. Lucky punch. I think that I gotta chalk that one up to a lucky punch.
Yeah.
And the guy in his situation, he doesn't have a lot left to prove.
What is he?
I mean,
I think he's got the most wins in UFC history, the most cage time in UFC history, title defenses, I'm pretty sure, or title fights. I know title fights. Maybe not title defenses in a row because Anderson still got that one, but
he pretty much gave everybody the fights they wanted. I mean, because the UFC just does a good job of that, anyways. But
yeah, exactly.
He didn't leave a fight on the like a Pacquiao Mayweather on the table. Yeah,
exactly. There's nobody that.
And he's a very likable guy. He's very engaging and
humble.
And great personality. He has a career in something other than fighting. He's already making the Nas commercials and
he's been in movies.
Which I'm not sure speaking parts are best for him. But,
I'm not impressed by your performance.
He could open a gym, train.
Well, yeah, he trained
fighters.
at TriStar or whatever, and he's in the new Captain America movie that's going to be coming out this summer or something. He's a villain. I don't know much about Captain
It's
America.
hard. Like these guys make it this far and do these sports because they're ultra competitive compared to
they're a different kind of human being, really.
It's usually not easy for them to go away.
Yeah.
Like,
to
that's
step
why
out
they
of that
don't.
limelight.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so the fact that he's doing it should tell people there's probably things going on that you don't even know about. I mean, it's not easy to. It's the limelight. It's the like they talked about Jordan. I mean, there's a video of him playing beer pong,
Yeah.
And he's taking it seriously because he's still to this day he needs to compete, whether it's like beer
Jordan as your pong partner, man. God damn. Like it's me and MJ.
It's what makes those guys feel alive. Like everybody has their thing that they love, and these guys have to compete to make life worthwhile, and it's hard for them to walk away from the stage that they're on. So if he's doing it, he did it for the right reasons, I'm sure.
And he's not one of those guys that's the spotlight has to be on him. He's not a look at me guy.
Right.
He would rather, we spoke about Kanye earlier. I mean, they couldn't be further apart than those two are.
Oh, I wish they were real close together in a cage though. That'd be fucking great, wouldn't it? Just that elbow through Kanye's fucking skull.
Yeah, Kanye would be done for.
So, you guys didn't watch it. Did you watch the fights last night? Oh.
No, I couldn't.
Well, my picks basically fucking... I got a couple of them right, but man, I got a bunch wrong.
UFC's hard. Like gambling?
I usually do about 70%.
Really?
I'm usually, get one or two of the fights wrong out of, 6 or 7. And last night, I think I was about 50% or maybe 40.
I was impressed at the guy at 155. It was a rematch. Apparently, there'd been an illegal knee in the first one or something.
Abe Trullo and Roger Bowling.
Yes.
Yeah.
That guy looked good.
Yeah. He said he was
scrambled.
out there to
hands
make a
were just fantastic, and yeah, he was impressive.
Yeah, for the person at home, the very first fight between these two guys, and they're mid-tier, not top 10 guys, but they also haven't been. They got maybe 1 or 2 fights apiece in the UFC, and their first fight was I believe it went to a no contest because it was an accidental, illegal knee, which upon further review, the knee looks like it's not an illegal knee, but the ref called it that way. Bowling couldn't continue, and that's it. No more fight. So. Their next fight was against each other last night, and yeah, Trullo just he said before that he wants to make a statement, and I think he finished him. There was a knee involved in the finish too, wasn't there, when he TKO'd him?
At first look, it looked like, but it was more it was to the body, and
and
it was like, you thought, because he did have a knee down, he was grounded,
and he looked really good in his debut fight. I think he lost his second one. I'm pretty sure he's 2-1 now with the 1 no contest. But I think he lost a decision in his second one, but he was really highly touted coming in.
And he lost to somebody.
I don't remember.
It was a name I recognized anyway.
Yeah. Joe Lozon just decimated Mac Danzig.
Yeah, he did.
I thought it was really cool. I wanted to say something about it on here. Danzig, before the fight, said he doesn't want any sponsors. He told everybody no. Because he's been in a rough patch, and he said, I just want to do this fight for me, and to so I've got nothing else on my mind but just myself, and came out with a pair of white shorts on that said "not for sale" on the back. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But they had some great ground exchanges at the beginning of the first round, and from then on, it just he basically elbowed a hole in his face. He broke his nose in, I think, the first or the second round, and it was pretty ugly. Sad. I like Mac Danzig. He was always one of my favorite guys in that. Came out of tough, anyways. Mighty Mouse shocked the world. Nobody thought he was gonna knock out Benavidez in the first round, but he put him to sleep with a good one. Benavidez stuck his arm out, kind of like just getting space, and Demetrius came over the top with a right, just landed flush and put him down, and finished him with 3 or 4 extra shots.
Was he trying to push him away, or was he arranging his next shot?
Yeah, either or. He was just getting space, like he ducked a punch, slipped a punch, and then was getting space for another shot to throw one, and
came right over the top.
Yeah, right over the top and caught him, and then that was it. Uriah looked nasty, and he finished. That's the number 2 and number 3 bantamweights in the world, or in the UFC. Uriah and Michael McDonald, and McDonald, I don't even know that he got maybe a couple of shots off, I think, but he looked outmatched. And that's a guy that just fought for the interim bantamweight strap. Michael McDonald.
Faber is a monster. Man.
He is. He reminded me of the WEC days last night.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I haven't seen it, but
like throwing those big, and that's what he used to do, is set up chokes with big punches. He'd get people dazed with a big overhand or a big hook, and then immediately as soon as they went down, he's looking for that choke, and that's exactly what he did, and he looked fucking nasty. Chad Mendez, who was on a streak of 4 knockouts in a row, on his way ever since he fought Aldo. He got knocked out by Jose Aldo in a featherweight championship, which then he was just a wrestler basically, and then now Dwayne Bang Ludwig has taken over at head coach at Alpha Male, and I think all their fighters, he's like 20-4 of all the Alpha Male fighters, and since he's taken over as head coach. You remember Bang Ludwig,
mm-hmm.
right? And
Dwayne?
yeah, they're just knocking people out left and right. And Mendez he fought Nick Lentz. He almost had him finished in the first round, and Lentz is a tough dude. He survived, and then came out later because Mendez visibly slowed down after that first round. Came out later that he was fighting that chest cold or some sort of sinus infection or something like that, because it just looked like it was weird for all he's so fast. First, you watch the first round of that fight, and you think Jose Aldo's in trouble. Like this is not the same dude that he fought that Aldo knocked out. Mendez was going for a takedown, and Aldo hit him with a knee right to the chops and put him to sleep. But not the same fighter at all anymore. He's a beast. And but then you watch the next 2 rounds, and it's just like, okay, he's not ready for Jose still, But depends on which
who won the fight.
Mendez did.
Oh, okay.
He won the first round. I almost would have gave him a 10-8 round, and then he won the second round, and he lost the third round, and ended up 29-28 or something like that, I think. But yeah, so that was it. The other thing was these goddamn commercials on all the fights. As soon as I caught up to the recording, where I was watching them live, is promoting for Anderson Silva and Chris Weidman too, and I gotta watch fucking Anderson get knocked out every commercial break, and it just breaks my heart the same way every time. Like, I always just hope it's gonna end differently, and
it sucks.
I'm so stoked for this fight coming up. They're bumping up the pay-per-view $5. It's gonna be 60 instead of 55 for just Dana says anyways, for just this pay-per-view. Because it's got Rousey and Tate, which, basically two highly anticipated rematches, the most highly anticipated rematch of all time, I imagine.
Which is I guarantee you, my sister will be watching the fight. She has become a huge MMA fan. She's been watching Ultimate Fighter since they have the girls on there and stuff,
yeah.
and she's really gotten into it. It's pretty funny. So I think that may be part of the reason is there.
No, she's Rousey, right? She's Team Rousey.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I think, I am too. She almost lost me, but she's such a badass.
She's
also
very intense.
She's also cool. Like, you listen to her on these interviews and podcasts, and I get a kick out of her.
Yeah, when she's not pissed off.
Yeah.
Then and she actually gets to relax and stuff. Then
there was a funny thing on the on the Ultimate Fighter, and they're talking about I think it was Ronda Rousey that said it, that you see these guys fight, and after the fight they're hugging each other, what a great fight and stuff, and she says you don't see that in the women's fights. Just we stay pissed.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense. I fucking believe it.
There's an interesting difference between guys and girls. Like, guys can become friends after a fist fight. You were friends with Josh
Brandon.
Liddell. You were friends with Brandon.
Your friend. Yeah.
I met Dylan and Anthony because I went down to scrap them because they pushed my brother off his bike. Like, guys can actually become closer because of a fist fight, but girls, it's pure hatred if it gets to that point.
Fuck that bitch.
I just reminded myself. Did you see the Sharkeisha video?
No, I don't think so.
Have you?
No.
It's some black chick, and she's arguing with this girl. She sucker punches her, and she whoops this bitch's ass. But her name is Sharkeisha. Her friend that's filming it is going, Sharkeisha, no. This is like, what?
Awesome,
like, how? Yeah, that's the best name ever. Sharkeisha. Sharkeisha, no. Anyways, we better wind it down. Oh, the sign language guy.
Oh yeah.
Let's cover that real quick, and then we'll go to the movies. And
it wasn't his first rodeo either. He did it a year ago.
Really? Well, I saw the thing, and he said he's got a violent past, like he's been arrested for
paranoid schizophrenic or something,
and he's standing right next to world leaders. It's like,
how I found out about it was Patton Oswalt.
Uh-huh.
I think it was Patton Oswalt on Twitter said that the sign language guy actually said like something dick boner or something. And I was like, what is he talking about? And then I turned the news on, and they were like, sign language guy was completely speaking gibberish. And I was like, what?
Well,
that's crazy.
The one that
I saw the translation. There was somebody translating it, and occasionally he accidentally got a word. You know,
it's all, we salute you, and he's all, okay, you got that one.
You know, okay, even a blind pig finds an acorn every once in a while. But
he's so good at faking it, though. Like, if we went on stage to do it,
we'd be like,
we could probably do, but he looks like legit with his stuff. But I guess
you watch it for long enough, and it's like he's doing the same ones
over and over.
Again,
you know, and it was, and if you know, obviously anybody that knows sign language or has seen it much, then you.
Can you imagine the people that were watching that actually needed sign language were probably like,
what the fuck?
But a year prior, he had been in the African national whatever, you know, government, and they'd used him a year ago, and it was, people were coming on pissed off, you know, the people from the deaf community saying, you know, this guy's just gibberish. He's not doing anything. So how can somebody who had pulled that off once get on the stage in what is arguably the biggest event of the year? You know, Nelson Mandela
and the biggest collection of world
great
leaders
man.
There.
You know, how does this man get on the stage?
Yeah,
it's a horrible blunder, man.
Well, the reason,
what is the vetting process here?
It's horrible. What if he was an assassin?
That's the reason I looked into it, because LP, I don't know if you ever listen to him. He's a rapper.
I listened.
But he was going off on Twitter too, and he said this guy should be given a fucking medal because he was standing there. Basically fighting his orders because he was a Manchurian candidate, and he should be given a medal for fighting his assassination kill orders or whatever. Like,
it was horrible.
So I had to look into it.
Well,
horrible vetting.
The Secret Service is, they take, whenever the president or vice president is in a foreign country, the Secret Service takes the lead on that. You know, they don't play second fiddle to, you know, the Afghan National Police or the South African, you know, whoever.
Yeah.
You know, they are in charge, and I'm surprised I haven't heard more about the fact that what a huge blunder this was on the part of the Secret Service.
That's their mistake. Like,
oh, absolutely.
Wow. Now, what was the whole that the dudes that hired him disappeared or something right out? Did you guys hear any of that?
Not yet.
The dude's bosses.
Oh,
like
the company
that
for.
doesn't exist.
Yeah, they
or
fell
something.
off. They literally fell off the. I was watching a Young Turks video about it, and they said that they were trying to contact the company that hired him, or
that sent him there,
or
whatever,
that sent him there, and they literally can't find anybody to represent the company.
Did you see? And not to change the subject, but kind of a same topic. The plane that went down, and the woman. There was 9 people on the plane. 8 of them survived it. The one woman that died was the woman that worked for Hawaii's. Their Department of Health. She was the woman that validated and confirmed President Obama's birth certificate. Plane goes down, 9 people on it. She's the only one that dies.
Yeah, that's fucking.
And I'm not a birther. I'm not a. You know, I.
That's a weird coincidence. That's just fodder for it, though.
Well, yeah.
It's a weird coincidence.
Well,
yeah, that's those
it's
kind of
happened
things.
before.
Scare me.
It's, I mean,
that
documented. This shit's fucking shit happens. All right, well, thanks for listening, everybody. We're gonna get the fuck out of here. Got shit to do. Make sure them Cowboys are still winning. Oh shit! Rest in peace, Shane Del Rosario.
He did die.
Rest in peace, Nelson Mandela. And rest in peace to my right testicle. Good night, everybody.